So this video is probably going to feel a bit like a therapy session. I'm sorry in advance. You're welcome. It really depends on what corner of the internet algorithm dragged you here. Kicking, screaming, or willingly, it really depends. So grab a drink, get a coffee. I did have a coffee, now it's gone cold because I forgot it existed. And let's talk. This one's off topic. Don't worry, we'll be back to the normal regime soon. Let's get into it. Welcome to this episode of The Bored Book Geek. My name is Darth James, and if you want to support this weird little corner of the internet, you're welcome to check out Ko-fi, where you can buy me a coffee, Patreon, Substack, as well as YouTube channel memberships. Also, remember, if you don't want to do that, you can always just like this video, leave a comment, and hit that hype button. Let's start the show. Ages ago on another channel, I made a series of videos about being alone in your hobbies. Back then it was kind of funny, like, haha, I'm the guy who reads fantasy novels alone, plays Pokémon on the internet, hoards nerdy stuff, and somehow feels shy around the people who like the exact same stuff. And, unpacking the last 12 months, and significantly more emotionally tired, I realised something. I wasn't joking, I was masking. Because the truth is, being alone in your hobbies isn't this charming indie movie character trait. It's something that just happens when most of the attempts at community feel like a side quest you're underleveled for. As much as I joke about being neurospicy, I have a mix. Probably social anxiety, definitely ADHD, and that lovely autistic trait that makes me hyperfixate on something for 78 hours straight and then suddenly forget it exists. So, if you've walked into a place and have one bad experience, have you? Have you had that moment? That's it for me. Campaign over. Delete, save, restart on easy mode. It's not dramatic, it's survival. It's my brain. Well, it tried that once and nearly failed. We're not going back. It's a survival instinct. People underestimate how much effort it takes to show up in a community space when you're neurospicy or just me in general. It's not just go in and say hi, it's not just be yourself, it's rehearse the conversation in your head 50 times, try not to panic, walk into a room, forget every conversation you rehearse, smile awkwardly, leave early, lie in bed that night and cringe about it for the next 10 years. The book community, yeah. It's like being dropped into a group project where everyone else has already formed their cliques, and you're the new kid holding a fantasy book saying, I like dragons. Please be nice. I'm nice. And on top of that, I'm a people pleaser. The worst superpower a person can have. Oh no, someone might be mildly inconvenienced by my existence. Guess I'll just implode. This year I've been trying to unlearn that, and trying is the operative word. It's not going very well. Actually, in general, this year has been hell. So, yeah, we're not going to go into that one either. I think there's always that one story, right? That moment that changed everything. For me, it was a Magic the Gathering incident. Having my friend's older brother teach us how to play, me walking into a local game shop, heart racing, deck in hand, ready to make friends or at least fake being normal for a couple of hours. The person I was meant to play against burst out laughing and refused. The people running the place laughed at me. Full on, look at this noob energy. That made me feel like I turned up to a calculus exam with a crayon. I didn't even play the game, not a single game. I quietly slipped out the back with my 2 booster packs, like I was escaping a hostage situation, and wandered around town for 2 hours waiting to meet my mum. When she asked, do you want to go again? I said no. She knew something was wrong, but she knew not to push. And that was that. Life path altered, all because of a couple of grown adults thought humiliating a shy kid made them cool. It's wild how a single moment from over 2 decades ago can still echo through your life like a bad reverb effect. It's like the brain remembers what hurt, especially when you're already a bit sensitive. Sensitivity is also a weakness of mine. I don't think I've ever consciously avoided nerdy friends after that, but looking back, maybe I did. I just never felt comfortable around people who shared the same hobbies of me. I always assumed they'll know more, or judge me, or laugh at the guy in the store who's still learning. I do have one friend who's into all this stuff, card games, tabletop, all of it, but he is both a sore winner and a sore loser, which is honestly kind of impressive. A rare dual-class character build. I love him genuinely, but I can't play games with him. I don't have the mental energy to deal with someone who treats every casual game like a World Cup final or the Super Bowl. There's a gaming cafe in my town. Looks amazing. Everything I could want. Cozy lighting, shelves of games, mix of people actually enjoying themselves, and every time I walk past, I get that maybe today feeling, and my brain slams the emergency brakes. No thank you, you are not emotionally prepared for that. It's like my anxiety has a bouncer who checks my mental ID and goes, sorry mate, you're not on the list. The last time I genuinely had an in-person nerdy community, if you can call it that, was a great pub that hosted game nights. Picture this, adults having a drink, shuffling cards, rolling dice, laughing. No one taking everything too seriously. It felt safe, it felt comfortable. It felt like what everyone else got to experience at the time. And then the pub closed, and of course it did, because 2020. And because the universe likes to keep me humble. Since then, most, if not all of my hobbies live online. Discord servers, which I'm currently ghosting. One-shot tabletop sessions, YouTube videos, safe spaces where you can exist without the pressure of being physically present. This is why I have such a complicated relationship with the book community. I've had some amazing experiences for sure, but I've also had some really bad ones. Definitely criticism that felt personal. Back channels full of drama. People who I trusted who turned out to be not great. And after a while, your brain goes, why do I put the energy in again when you know how the story ends? It's exhausting trying to show up as your best self when your best self is already tired before you begin. And I envy people who can walk into a room, drop into a conversation, and instantly be part of a group. My gaming friend does this naturally, and I admire it. But I'm the one in the corner pretending to read a manual like it's a sacred ancient text. Here's the part I didn't understand until recently. Some of us aren't meant for big fandom communities. Some of us thrive in smaller spaces or online circles or lone wolf hobby mode. It doesn't make you less passionate. It doesn't make you broken. It doesn't mean you're missing some essential human experience. It just means your interest in your hobbies is different, more personal, quiet, safer. And if you don't feel safe, there's no point. Being alone in your hobbies can actually be peaceful. It gives you ownership, it gives you freedom, it gives you a way to love things without pressure. There's beauty in that, even if it took me 20 years to see it. Although I do wish I could just walk in and have fun, and my brain didn't stop me. But if you're like me, if you're neurospicy, socially exhausted, politely traumatized by old memories, if you've ever been burnt out by communities or embarrassed out of a space, if your hobby lives mostly online where you feel safe, you're not weird, you're not broken, and you're definitely not alone. You're just someone trying to enjoy things you love without the emotional gymnastics other people seem to do effortlessly. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to stare at the gaming cav from across the street like a Dickensian street urchin making eye contact with a loaf of bread that I'm too shy to buy. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.